Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Bada bing, bada boom. My favorite day of the week, it is Monday. Welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. If you're coming on, please do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly everybody, and let them know Prophet Ramon, the squad, we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. This is the day that the Lord has made. We are already rejoicing and we're glad in it. Today is April the 4th, 2022. My favorite day of the week, of course, with the exception of Sunday, because I get to go to church and have a good Holy Ghost time. But when it comes to work days, Monday is my favorite day of the week because we have another opportunity to crush it this week. So if you're coming on and you are a part of our live today, I want you to hit the like button, hit the share button, tag somebody, let them know Prophet Ramon, the squad. We are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. And I'm super excited about our show today. So welcome to the Ramon Preston Show. I am your host, Ramon Preston. And as you know, every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time, we come to you to share information with you that we know is designed to help you properly start, properly structure, and properly scale your businesses, maybe ministries, income streams, and wealth building dreams. Everything that I share with you on this show is a direct extension of what we do through our organization, whether it's our consulting division, our coaching division, or our training division. All this information is critical to your success. And so today I want to talk to you about how do you manage the day-to-day operations of a holding company. Now for me, this discussion about a holding company is very near and dear to my heart for several different reasons. One reason in particular is because it took me 4 times to figure out all the intricate details of what a holding company was, how a holding company works. And when I say 4 times, I mean I started 3 LLCs before I got it right. And it was because I was limited with my information. It was because I didn't know a whole lot about holding companies. And it wasn't until I started getting in the right circles, getting around the right people, and seeing how a lot of these major corporations were operating, it wasn't until then that I realized that something I was doing was wrong and something they were doing was right. Now, of course, my wife and I, we were in a lot of circles that were central to real estate. So we had access to developers, we had access to associations, we had access to investors and people who were doing massive amounts of real estate deals on both the residential and the commercial level. And we realized very quickly, especially when we started getting introduced to developers and associations and investors that were participating in commercial real estate deals, we realized very quickly that they were operating with different types of structures, systems, and processes that were giving them this massive amount of leverage and wiggle room to scale. And so as I started to research, as I started to learn, as I started to do my own due diligence to figure out what was going to be the best way for my wife and I and for our company to scale effectively and successfully, I realized that the holding company concept was the way to go. And so that's why this has been a very powerful conversation that I've been having for the past few years, at least 4 years. I really started honing in and having a lot of conversations about the holding company 4 years ago. It was when my wife and I decided that we were going to restructure and reorganize our organization, because again, I started 3 different LLCs. My first LLC I started in 2006. My second LLC I started in 2014, and then a year later I started my third LLC in 2015. And it wasn't until our fourth LLC that we started in 2018, that was 4 years ago, when we made the decision that we were going to become millionaires. We made the decision that we were going to be wealthy, and that's when we took all of the knowledge we had about holding companies, about infrastructures, and we reorganized and restructured and reset our entire company. And that's what has led to us being who we are today in the market as business consultants, coaches, and trainers. And this is why this conversation is near and dear to my heart. So whether you are a W-2 employee, an independent contractor, a business owner, maybe you're all of the above, and you're just trying to figure out more about the holding company concept and how this concept can actually benefit you. Well, first and foremost, I've already shared it on countless occasions, but I think it's worth me saying again. A holding company is more of a concept than anything. And when I say that, sometimes people they misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying a holding company is not a legitimate company, but a LLC is typically what a holding company is built around. So when you go to the Secretary of State, or when you get somebody to start your business or to file and form the paperwork, most likely they're going to do it as a LLC, or they're going to do it as a S corporation, and maybe they'll do it as a C corporation. But if you have the right people who are experts like tax strategists or CPAs or lawyers, most likely they're going to sit down with you. They're going to look at what your business objectives are, what your tax situation is, and they're going to determine what type of entity needs to be formed. So in most cases, that entity is going to be a LLC. Now, I'm just giving you like the basics of it. So that entity is going to be a LLC. So no matter what the entity is, whether it's a LLC, a S Corp, or a C Corp, for this entity, for this legal entity to be used as a holding company, it is going to require the owner to understand the concept. So when I say concept, I'm talking about what are the principles behind this concept? What are the views behind this concept? What are the beliefs behind this concept? So just because you have a LLC, just because you have a S Corp or a C Corp, if you just want to get real sophisticated about it, it doesn't matter. Just because you have a legal entity, let me just put it this way. Just because you have a legal entity doesn't necessarily mean the holding company concept is going to work through this legal entity. It's a part of your education. This is what a lot of people misunderstand me on, and they mistake me for saying one thing when I'm saying another thing. I'm not saying the holding company is not a legal entity, but more specifically, the holding company is built around a legal entity. It's no different than your construction business or a landscaping business. Whatever the business is that you are operating, that business has to be built around a legal entity, and that legal entity needs to be built around it. So let's just establish the fact that when you have a LLC, we're going to just use the most common type of legal entities. When you start a LLC and you want your LLC to be a holding company, or you want to use your LLC as a holding company, what is going to make this LLC a holding company? Well, outside of you categorizing it when you file the paperwork and form the paperwork, outside of you putting in the operating agreement that the purpose of this LLC is to be used as a holding company, outside of that, what else is going to make this LLC function as a holding company? It's going to all come down to you, or it's going to all be dependent upon you educating yourself on the concepts that are behind this thing called a holding company. So you have to learn the concepts, you have to learn the principles, you have to learn the practices, so that when you do start your LLC and you get your EIN number and you get your Secretary of State articles of organization and you get your operating agreement established, and you, in terms of the legal filing and the legal forming and the paperwork, when you establish your LLC as a holding company, then what are you going to do? Well, if you're educated about the concepts, you're going to figure out what is the best way to manage the day-to-day operations of it. Because I see a lot of clients that I work with, I see a lot of people that I have as students that are in my university training program. I talk to a lot of people in consultations and in workshops and in sessions who tell me, I have a LLC, I have my EIN number, I have my articles of organization, I have my operating agreement, and I have done everything I needed to do for this LLC to be used as a holding company. But guess what the next question is? What else am I supposed to do? Well, you have to educate yourself, because the concepts behind this holding company are things that you have to learn, so that you're actually maximizing the benefits and the advantages of owning an LLC that is established and designed to be used as a holding company. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about how do you manage the day-to-day operations of this legal entity that is positioned as a holding company. Well, if it is a holding company, it is designed to do what? It is designed to hold. I think we've established that. Right? It is designed to hold. What is it going to hold? It's going to hold intellectual property. It's going to hold investments. It's going to hold ownership interests of other businesses. It's going to hold stocks or bonds. It's going to hold assets. That's what the purpose of this entity is designed to do. It is designed and purposed to hold assets, things that will go up in value, things that will increase its overall value, so that now if you have other entities or if you have other assets, they're all being held by the holding company. So that's what the primary purpose of a holding company is. That's what a holding company is designed to do. But here's the thing. Once you understand what the purpose of this holding company is, now it's time to manage the day-to-day operations, because most of the time, even when you establish a holding company, you either have an operating business or something that you want to go into the marketplace and do to generate income, or if you don't, you're actually going to use your holding company as an incubator to work on your ideas so that you can create products and services and introduce them to the market. But managing the day-to-day operations of this holding company are going to be critical, and they're going to be tied to certain systems, certain processes, so that you are able to qualify and quantify your practices. So let me help you make sense of this. So we have LLC at the top. We're going to use this LLC as the holding company. Okay? This is going to be your holding company. And we want to build an infrastructure for this holding company so that we can manage the day-to-day operations. That's what we want to do. The best way to do that, or at least my way of doing that, because I've had to figure out what worked for me and what helped me to stay focused on what I wanted to accomplish through this type of structure. The best way to do it is to identify with what are the most important systems your holding company needs. Because remember, if you have 1,000 ideas that could be products and services or could be other business entities that you may build into subsidiaries, all of those things have to run up to your holding company. So when you can get it right at the top, it's easier to move into these other layers and get these other layers right. So we have our holding company LLC here. Just want to, just make sure it looks good. We have our LLC here. This is our holding company. This is what we're going to use as our holding company. Or maybe if I had a D and an I there. So these 5 arrows right here represent what I consider to be the top 5 corporate systems and processes. So if you establish your holding company, you need to look at, okay, what should I build under my main holding company? Well, I need an executive system. I need an executive system. I need a sales system. I need a marketing system. I need a financial system. And I need an operation system. Now, some people may feel like, you know what, this is just too sophisticated. I don't need all of that. Well, what happens is when you don't at least have an understanding of what the most important systems are that you would need to support a holding company structure, you find yourself down here in these other layers of trying to create products and services or trying to do other businesses and trying to start other opportunities, and you never get it done because you're confused, you're conflicted, and there's no central concentrated focus that you have on how all of this should work. So I would say that you need to at least build an infrastructure. Even if you don't have the people, even if you don't have all the details done, at least you have an idea of what are the most important, what are the top systems and processes do I need so that I can effectively and successfully manage the day-to-day operations. Because managing the day-to-day operations of your business is going to come down to systems and processes. How else will you manage the day-to-day operations of a holding company? Otherwise, you're going to have a LLC established as a legal entity. You're going to call it your holding company. You're going to have a name. You're going to have cards, you're going to have a domain, a logo, you're going to have all this stuff, but there's nothing practical that you are doing every day to see to it that this company, this organization, this enterprise is actually making progress. But if you build a solid infrastructure with the right systems and the right processes, it will be easier for you to get the right people, including yourself, and it will be easier to start bringing definition to what are the practical things that I need to do? What are the day-to-day tasks and activities that need to get done within this infrastructure? And whatever it is that you're going to be doing in your business, whether it's through your holding company, whether it's through a division in your holding company, or whether it's through subsidiaries, which are operating entities owned by your holding company, any of the things that you're going to be doing, they're going to be tied to one of these 5. So you need to have a solid executive system. And so when I say a solid executive system, let me just walk you through each of these 5 systems. I'm talking about a system, a department, a division, a ecosystem within your office as the CEO, because you are the main executive of the company. And so there needs to be some type of system built around you. There has to be a system built around you, because you have to be able to understand what are your most important duties on a day-to-day basis as the executive of this organizational enterprise. Now, of course, when you first get started, because I have been there, I know exactly what it feels like to be the CEO and to have to play all other roles within my company, because I didn't have people to play those roles. But I just want to show you how, okay, an executive system, what will an executive system look like from a technological perspective, from a platform perspective? Well, this executive system may be some type of operational management system or technology or application that you're using, or software that you're using to be able to manage the day-to-day activities and details of what exactly do you need to get done. So this will be tied to your calendar. This will be tied to your scheduling. This will be tied to all of the tasks that you have to do to not only build your organization out, but what are the things that you are responsible to do for vision casting, for developing products and services, for finding clients and customers, for setting appointments and making presentations. So the executive department or this particular system is going to have its hand in all of the other things that even if you're not doing, you're overseeing. So even if I'm not leading the sales system, the sales department, the sales division, I still have my hand in it because I need to lead it. Because if I have new products, if I switch my products, if I pivot in a certain area, my sales department needs it. But a lot of times when you're a solopreneur, because I've been all five, and you're doing it yourself and you waking up every day scrapping, at least if you have this infrastructure built and you know, okay, you have a holding company, so you've figured that out. You've built this umbrella, this parent organization, but you still got to get out here in the marketplace, way down here in these layers, and go scrap and hustle and grind. But your scrapping, your hustling, and your grinding can be more impactful when you've understood these things, when you've figured these things out, okay? So you have your executive systems, then you have your sales systems. So how does this look with technology, with platforms, with software? Well, this looks like having a CRM, some type of customer relations and management software. It doesn't have to be like the most sophisticated, but you have to have some type of system within your company, your main company, that you're able to track your leads, track your prospects. You're able to get information like phone numbers and emails and names and addresses of people who are either interested in purchasing your products and services or who have already purchased them, so that you can have those categorized correctly to know how do you communicate with them, how do you stay in touch with them, how do you manage the day-to-day activities and interactions of the people that are either purchasing your products and services or that will at some point purchase your products and services. Guess what? You need a marketing system. These are the top 5 because they're the most essential. You need a marketing system. Most of the times, even if you have a good CEO and you have a good CRM, if you don't have a marketing system to generate leads, to get the attention of the CEO, because you as the CEO, as the executive that's covering all these and overseeing all these, you're probably got to be the one that get the attention. Your company needs to get attention. So that means you're going to have to start building some type of system and infrastructure for the purpose of getting attention, promoting. That means you're not just sitting inside the office all day doing data entry, or you're just twiddling your thumbs trying to figure out how you can look for an opportunity. No, you out there scrapping, getting attention, but you are intentional, because now you're able to get attention, and you can tie that attention to a system where you can start gathering that information. And when you're able to gather that information, it makes it easier for you to be focused on what are the things that are most important for you to do, and what are the things that are not most important, but you're able to track all this activity. You're able to document all this traffic, so it makes it easier for you to get other people to come help you when you need it, especially if your marketing is generating leads and your leads are generating sales. It's going to give you an opportunity to free you up. But what are you going to delegate to other people who come into your ecosystem if you have not categorized it, compartmentalized it, and have really clearly defined those roles within these systems with processes? That's very important. And then of course you need financial systems. And this should be directly under your holding company. So even if you have an operating company, your operating company is only going to be a duplicate of your parent company. Like, very few companies are structured like this that don't have it together up here, but all the companies under them have it together. At some point, those other operations are going to be affected if you don't have it together up here. Whether it's financially, whether it's in marketing or sales or all of the above, you're going to start conflicting and creating dysfunction. So you need financial systems. So what are some examples of financial systems? Well, it could be QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a good financial system because now you're able to track your income. Well, I ain't making no money. Well, you can track your expenses. What are the expenses associated to your business? But now you at least have the right systems in place so that when you do market your company, when you market your products and services, when you build a database of leads and prospects and clients, you have systems that you're able to oversee, and they're interconnected together the best as they possibly can be. Because all these systems may not work together in a rhythm until you are able to find what the rhythm is. And this may represent 5 different systems, but these are the systems that you have to have, even if you're connecting 2 or 3 different systems together. Like, for example, the marketing system that we use is interconnected to the sales system we use. The sales system we use is connected to the operations system we use. All of these systems are able to be overseen by me, even though my financial system is not necessarily connected to some of them. But the way we have our processes, we're able to track when something comes from marketing to sales, and we make a sale and it goes into our operational daily log. We're able to easily track it to make sure that it coincides and that it is in alignment with what we're entering into our financial system. So these are systems that you have to have, and it's just going to make your business that much more easier. And then the last one is our operation system. This system here, this operation system is more of a metric driven system. This could be more important than all of them if you don't have this one together, because this is going to show you where you are every day and what the impact of what everybody is doing. So if I go to my operational system, I should be able to see what exactly did me and my team accomplish today, because this system is not going to be a system full of names and numbers and information, phone numbers rather. This system should be metric based. So now we're able to see how many phone calls did we make today? How many appointments did we set today? How many people did we contact today? How many deals did we close today? What is the deal value of those close? closes, and we're able to put those metrics against what was the best month we had, what was the best week we had, what was the best day we had, so that we can not only have key performance indicators, KPIs, but we can also have an impact scale, some type of scale we can look at and see, oh, this is where we are. We're not doing great, or we're doing amazing. So these systems, if you understand and you're following me, these systems will help to determine how you manage the day-to-day operations of your holding company. So don't just get caught up in the idea of, oh, I want a holding company because a holding company is the way to go. Well, it's not going to benefit you. It's not going to give you any advantages than any other LLC or any other business if you don't understand the concept behind it. And so the concept behind having a holding company begins with you, number one, having the right systems. These are the 5 most important systems you're going to need. Now, with these systems, you're going to have certain processes. There are certain processes. There are certain step-by-step activities and tasks that you're going to do to see to it that you're able to understand how your business operates, what your financial income and expense activities are, what your marketing is doing and how it's creating results. What are your sales? What numbers mean to your business, and how you are able to oversee all of them. Now, once you're able to get these systems and processes established, which, by the way, it's not that difficult, especially if you get access to the right information. Like all of this that I'm telling you, I walk all of my clients through this in my Millionaire Mentorship program. If people hire me as a consultant, my team and I, we walk them through the basics of this so that they can at least integrate these systems and processes to their business. Even our online training university, we give you courses and tutorials and walk through videos to show you not only what you need, but how it actually needs to be integrated into your business. It's essential. But once you get this established, then you're able to identify with what are the things that you're doing that need to be packaged as products and services. So think about all the things that you're doing, and let's say you start a holding company. I'm gonna give myself as an example. When I first started my holding company, when we reorganized our organization, we had 3 different LLCs at one point, and we reorganized, we restructured, and we started one holding company. And so the holding company was named Ramon Preston Enterprises, still the same name we have today. This is our holding company. This is our parent organization. So when we sat down and identified with what are all the things that we're doing that we want to package and introduce to the market as products and services to sell and to provide. Well, for us, we had the products and services of consulting. We had the products and services of coaching. We had the products and services of training. Okay, so we had consulting. This is for me, consulting. We had coaching. And we had training. Now, when you look at the 3 pillars, the 3 things that my wife and I and our company was doing every day, this consulting, coaching, and training encompassed business, finance, and real estate. And so it wasn't anything outside of the services of consulting, coaching, and training that we were primarily doing. So it's not like we actually needed a separate entity, an outside entity other than this entity to do these specific things, because this was not like a volatile or a very high liability or high risk line of work. So that means what we were doing as consultants and coaches and trainers, we could actually package these as products and services and programs like we still have today. And from an organizational perspective, all of what we were doing from an organizational perspective could actually be a division. These could be divisions. So that means we didn't have to, let me just kind of go back over this. I know I'm always erasing the good stuff. Some people always say, man, why are you always erasing that stuff? You draw this good image. And well, I have a lot of diagrams that are very polished, but I just do this for the purpose of the show. So let's go back to the LLC. Okay, this was our holding company, right? And so what we decided to do was, instead of starting separate LLCs, we just created divisions. So a lot of times when you have ideas that you are working on turning into products and services, but those ideas are still in the incubator, they're still in research and development. You haven't proven the ideas. You ain't really made a substantial amount of money on those ideas, or, you know, it's just really not worth starting a separate entity, because remember, every time you start a separate entity, you're going to have to create those new systems and processes for each entity. You have to do that, because this is what the systems and processes do. When you have the right systems and processes, those systems and processes have to not only synchronize with those other entities, but they have to create separatism. And I'll explain that in a minute. So you have your LLC. This is your holding company. So if your ideas are not high liability ideas, if they're not volatile, meaning that if you're going to get into real estate investing and you're going to purchase properties, where you're going to have to purchase those separate properties in separate LLCs. So you're not going to purchase the property in your holding company. If you are, let's say, landscaping or doing tree work, or you're detailing cars, if these are there are a lot of businesses that are like very risky businesses, you're not going to operate that business under your holding company as a division. But if it's not a risky liability with that business operation, you can always start it under your holding company as a division. Now, you want to make sure if or when you do that, you get enough insurance to cover what you're doing. So for example, our divisions, we had consulting, and we still have it. We have consulting division, we have a coaching division, and we have a training division. So we decided, oh, okay, we don't want to start 3 different LLCs, because we don't necessarily need 3 different LLCs under the main LLC as a holding company. We can actually use these 3 services that we're providing as divisions, so they are technically under our holding company, and all we need to do is make sure we have enough insurance to cover ourselves for the consulting services we offer, the coaching services we offer, and the training services we offer. Now, if we get to a point to where we feel like one of these or all of these are risky, because we're hiring consultants and we're hiring educators and trainers, we're hiring coaches, and we have people that are creating a risk, then it's easy for us to create subsidiaries. Subsidiaries are going to be your operating entities. And again, if you're starting this structure and whatever the things are that you're doing, if they're too risky, and you want to make sure that you speak to people who know what they're talking about, so that if what you're intending on doing is risky, or you might already be in the business. Like, I have many clients who are already operating. I have clients that they have trucking businesses, or they have landscaping companies, or they got certain businesses that they just require separate entities. So once we reset their holding company and reorganize and structure it, once we get their holding company established, we at the same time make sure that they have another LLC for their operating entity. Whatever the operation is, we make sure that they have a separate LLC for that, because it is the type of company that needs to skip a division. It needs to be totally separate, but because they understand what systems and processes they need for their holding company, is easier for them to start another LLC and just duplicate the same systems and processes here, so that their holding company can be separate and their operating entity can be separate, but they're flowing together, because whatever is going on here anyway is going to pass up to the holding company. I hope what I'm sharing with you is making sense to you, but that's exactly what we did. And when we needed to start new subsidiaries, then we just started another LLC, and the main holding company owns that LLC, but it's easier to duplicate the systems and the processes. So this is really how you manage the day-to-day operations of your holding company as an organizational enterprise and as a business conglomerate. So you have to integrate your 5 top corporate systems and processes. And then you want to make sure that each of these systems and processes, that this is going to be my last point, that they allow you to have synchronization and separatism. So when you have your holding company, your divisions, and or your subsidiaries structured correctly, and it's organized correctly, it's easy to gauge how successful you can be and how much of an impact you're going to be able to make with running this organizational enterprise, with running this type of business conglomerate. It'll be easier to gauge when you know you can look at your companies or your operations as a whole and see, is there synchronization? So what do you mean by synchronization? Again, if you have the holding company at the top, you got systems and processes, you got divisions and or subsidiaries. Are they all synchronized together? Is it easy for what you got going on to flow up here? And is it easy for what you got going on up there to flow down? So if the flow and the rhythm of your organization is not synchronized, then you know something is not structured correctly, because you shouldn't be operating in a division or operating with the second or third or fourth LLC, and there's no flow back up to the holding company. And you shouldn't be operating the holding company, but there's no flow down. Because if you just got a holding company, but you don't have nothing to sell, nothing to do business with, no products, no services, no activity, then you just got a dead company sitting at the top. But you don't want to have something out there in the marketplace doing business, selling products and services, and it's not structured correctly to move back up to the holding company. Because remember, even when you do set these structures up, when you're filing your taxes every year, when you are checking your quarterly revenue and projections, everything you have going on a subsidiary level or on a division level has to be seen in your holding company systems. You should be able to go to your financial system in your holding company and see, what are my divisions doing or not doing? What are my subsidiaries doing or not doing? I should be able to go to my marketing and see what my subsidiaries or divisions are doing. My operational, what my subsidiaries or divisions are doing. My executive or my sales, my marketing. All these systems I should be able to go to on the holding company level and see what are my subsidiaries and divisions are doing. So there needs to be synchronization. Synchronization. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is textbook right here, because I teach 1-day mastermind workshops just on these corporate systems. So listen to this. Synchronization provides the process of a functional flow from each of the 5 corporate systems used by the holding company to similar systems used by the subsidiary. So if I have more than one LLC, then all of my extra LLCs should synchronize and flow back up to my one LLC. You got to make sure that if it's glitching, there's going to be a conflict in your mind, and it's going to stop you from moving, because you're not going to have the confidence to move, because you know something ain't right. Okay? But not only does it need to be synchronization, but there also needs to be separatism. So what do you mean separatism? Again, once you start creating subsidiaries, you've got to separate the executive systems, sales systems, marketing systems, financial systems, and operational systems from the holding company. So your subsidiaries will show up on your holding company systems or your profit and loss statements or whatever the operational administrative systems you have. But your subsidiary, your operating entity, it needs to be separate. You cannot mix and mingle the two, because you have to be able to show separatism. So listen to this. Separatism provides the operational independence for each subsidiary and the responsibility to provide results and reports back to the holding company. So that's exactly how it should flow. So your holding company is your parent organization up here. You got your 5 systems right here. You got processes for these systems that flow cohesively together. You have your divisions, which may be multiple divisions. It may represent products and services that you're selling. It may reflect certain ideas that you have that you just want to test the market with. And then you have your separate entities. You have your other LLCs that are separate legally, but when they're separate legally, these are all, let's say these are all separate LLCs. So when you're able to have your holding company structured right, with the right systems, with the right processes, with divisions, then you're either going to simultaneously establish separate LLCs if they're risky, or you leave them as divisions until they're ready to become LLCs, and you separate them. There has to be separatism. So each of these LLCs need what? They need systems and processes. So your divisions, they can have separate systems and processes, but they may not necessarily need them unless they're in the process of becoming separate LLCs. But once your ideas, your products, your services, your programs, your divisions become separate LLCs, they're going to need to duplicate here what you did here. So you're going to have the 5 systems and processes for all of these separately. Each one of those are going to have it. But if you do it that way, everything will flow up to the holding company, and everything will be able to flow back down. And now you start creating an ecosystem that can make a greater revenue impact and that can give you the capacity and the bandwidth that you need to scale. So I would love to hear some feedback from you on what you learned today and what your takeaway is from today's show. I'm going to do as many shows as I can this month in particular on the holding company and all of the concepts that surround the holding company. But just keep in mind, if you need more resources because you know you're very close to building this infrastructure out, or maybe you started it but you're glitching and you just don't know all the details that you need to know, you have a few different options. Number one, we have a signature program called our Millionaire Mentorship Program. It's a 1-year accelerated coaching and consulting program. And so with this 1-year mentorship program, we give you access for a whole year to our entire library and training programs to teach you everything you need to learn about holding companies, divisions, subsidiaries. We have workshops and masterminds that we provide in this mentorship program. We have one-on-one coaching sessions that we provide to help you build your organizational enterprise out the right way. We have weekly coaching calls that we host every Monday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we have built this 1-year Millionaire Mentorship Program in a way to see to it that you're able to properly start your organization, structure it correctly, and scale it within that 1 year of you being mentored by me and by my team. So if you're interested in being a part of our business community, joining our Millionaire Mentorship Program, and giving us at least 1 year to work with you to help you start it, structure it, and scale it, I want you to text the word millionaire. This is all you have to do, is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. You can text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Now, when you text the word millionaire to this number, we're going to reach back out to you and we're going to take a few minutes to identify with what exactly you want to accomplish in your personal, your professional, and financial life. And once we're able to identify with it, we can then show you how this mentorship program can help you start your company, restart it if you already tried to start it. We can show you how to structure it. We walk you through a process. And this process in this session is going to show you how to start your company, structure it, how to integrate the right systems and processes, how to take your ideas, turn them into products and services, how to price your products and services, how to market them, how to sell them. We walk you through every process so that you can have the right systems and the right game plan to scale your business to 6 figures and beyond. So all you have to do is text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. Now, if for some reason 1 year may be too long for you and you just don't really see yourself joining a program for that length of time, which for me as a business consultant, my professional opinion would be that you need it so that you can be thorough in what you're putting together so you can actually be successful in what you're doing. This is one of the reasons why 9 out of 10 businesses fail, because they do not give themselves enough time to start, structure so that they can scale. So most businesses never get to the scale level. Most businesses never get out of the structure level because they may start their LLCs and most of the time they don't start them right. I just showed you that. The first 3 LLCs that I started were not started correctly because these concepts were not clear by me. I didn't understand them the right way. And so I had to shut those first 3 down, dissolve them, and restructure and restart my company the right way. And for the last 4 years, what I've been able to accomplish is a direct result of how I started it, how I structured it, and why I'm able to scale it the way I am. So you can just text the word millionaire to 404-478-7213. I would love to speak with you, to share with you what the benefits of this program are. But again, if 1 year is just too long, we have courses just on starting and structuring holding companies. And so we have a specific course to show you all the things that you need just on starting and structuring a holding company. This course includes tutorials and walkthroughs. We literally walk you through the whole process of how to file your paperwork with the Secretary of State for a holding company, how to form it correctly, how to obtain your EIN, what language needs to be used when you're obtaining your EIN and when you're filing for your articles of organization. We provide all the documents for your operating agreement, and we literally show you step by step how to structure it the correct way to make it easier for you to integrate your systems and your processes. So if you would like access to that holding company course and startup kit outside of our Millionaire Mentorship program, all you have to do is call us at this number, or you can just go to RamonPreston.com. RamonPreston.com. You go to RamonPreston.com. All the information for our consulting, our coaching, and training is on the website, and all the other services that we provide are there. So I would love to have an opportunity to speak with you. Would love to get some feedback from you on what you think about this information that we're sharing with regard to holding companies, and is it bringing any value to you? I would love to know if it's bringing any value to you. If it's bringing value to you, please leave a comment, and more importantly, please subscribe to my YouTube page. Please share our page with other people that you know are interested in learning these concepts, and for those who are already in business but they may be facing some challenges with their structure, or they don't even know what their challenges are. A lot of people think it's the market, they think it's their products or services, or they think it's just people, and sometimes it's just how they have their business structured. They're just confused, so they don't have the confidence to market. They don't have the confidence to give presentations or to introduce their businesses because they got 4 or 5 different businesses or 16 different ideas, and they don't know which one they should go with first. All of this is technical and mental, but a lot of it is technical. You just have to technically set it up the right way, structure it the right way, organize it the right way, build systems and processes around it, and it just makes it easier for you to go out into the marketplace and do what you need to do to scale your business. So I love all of you, appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for continuing to support the show. Today is Monday. We have an amazing week ahead. We'll be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, right here on the Ramon Preston Show.